Why does the black man serve the white man? Why does everything the black man do benefit the white man? Why does the black man say freedom is doing what I want to do? And why is it that everything he wants to do enriches the European?
Welcome to the desert of the real.
Several interesting things have come up during the BAIO, particularly you being, attacked by an individual who will not be named, the motives of the BAIO being questioned, and, I didn't know we were scamming people out of money. That's news to me because I certainly didn't get a check from anybody.
Exactly. I didn't realize I didn't even know we had a Patreon account. Did we have a Patreon account? We got a GoFundMe page. I done heard all kinds of stuff. I've heard that oh man, it's like a hit list. I'm misleading the people.
Wow, I didn't know you were leading the people to begin with.
I want to know where I'm misleading them to. Like that's a strong accusation. You're misleading the people. When the majority of my shows is about how we need to leave America and go to Africa, so I'm misleading them to Africa?
I guess so. They probably think that you want to put them all on rafts or something like that and just push them out into the ocean and say, fly away, little ducks. I don't know. But this brought to some, this whole debacle has sort of, generated a lot of discussion within the BAIO, and it brought us back to a place where we haven't been for a while in terms of, getting back to the gym and flexing our ideological muscles somewhat, because we got so caught up in our vision, what we want to communicate, things of that sort. So I'm glad it happened because it forces us to, explain ourselves who we are to the people again, which is something we love to do. So that's why I wanted to do this particular call with you today, just to remind people of what the BAIO is, coming from a member of the BAIO who I've been here for almost 10 years. I remember when I first came in.
Wow, has it been?
Yeah, I think it's been 10 years since I've been. We did a reunion show a couple of weeks ago. But, yeah, I was in my early 20s when I came in, and I'm still here. Unlike, I could say people who are in the conscious community many who joined in their early 20s, and I was interested in the conscious community at one point, since this seems to be a major talking point, a major point of discussion amongst members. I was first introduced to them as a college student, or I should say I first became interested in them as a college student who was interested in the question, why is it that my people don't have what other people have? Why is it that my people aren't doing what other people are doing? And I looked into this problem and I saw the contemporary Black culture as it was. And I said, okay, fine, that is what it is. What about the people who want to be self-sufficient? What about the people who want to build something for ourselves? What about the people who see this thing for what it is and understands the importance of independence? So naturally, I stumble upon Black nationalism. Fine. Next, I look up Black nationalists and Pan-Africanists, who they are, where they are, because I'm in New York City. That's one blessing, is that you can find all sorts of people here, from, let's say, Black nationalists to Black Republicans to people who think Star Trek is real. Anyways, so I look up the Black nationalists and the Pan-Africanists who are here. Okay. I meet these people. Mind you, I am a college student studying in the STEM field. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, if we're going to discuss building something for ourselves, STEM is going to play some kind of role in all this. I talked to these folks. Long story short, it was a very frustrating and, what's the expression? Frustrating and disappointing experience. And that's when, I'm looking on YouTube, I stumble across your channel, and you're talking about STEM and nation building. And I said, you know what? This is the home for me. This is the place where I can go as someone who believes in science, who appreciates science and engineering, and more importantly, sees it as useful in the building up of my people. So that's my short story of how I got here. So when this whole thing was going on for the past week, well, I said last week, I felt, the need to come in and say my piece on this and what the BAIO means to me personally, as opposed to what other people are saying about the BAIO, because this is sort of my ideological family. How it is New York, how we New Yorkers are. You attack my cousin, we fighting. So, so it's like I had to go Bed-Stuy back. I was like, you know what?
I appreciate it, brother. I really do. Bell Thanos is with us in the house.
Awesome. Snap of the gauntlet.
That's
People
right.
going to disappear.
Now, I got to say this because this is one of the talking points. Why should we even be listening to you? Because you haven't been to Africa.
That's very interesting. The same reason why I would say Jews in the 1800s should have been listening to Theodore Herzl, even though he's never been to Palestine. That's my simplest answer. Same reason why Singaporeans should have been listening to Lee Kuan Yew, and he probably, never knew what it's like to run a first world economy. But yet here Singapore was a third world crap hole swamp in the middle of Southeast Asia. What importance is there in the vision? Do visions even have power? That's what you're really asking people when you question why someone should listen to the BAO. And the thing is, we don't expressly demand that anyone listens to us. We just put our stuff out there and see what happens. We cast the net and see what we reel in. So that's one thing. Second thing is, I think the structure of the BAIO really perplexes a lot of people, and that we do not demand much, if anything, from our members, except that they be passionate about what it is they're passionate about, and they believe in land infrastructure nationhood, and they understand the vision of the BAIO, which is to establish an independent Black African nation state on the continent of Africa, consisting of people of the diaspora. That is it. That's all we talk about. We don't go into anything deeper than that. Land infrastructure nationhood, consisting of Black diasporic Africans on the African continent. All the minutiae as to what cultures will be there, what types of people will be there. I say we cross that bridge when we get to it moment. But first, let's get this thing talked about. Let's see how many people will sign on for this. And once this thing shoots off, or if it happens in our lifetime, maybe we are the Theodore Herzls of this generation of Black Africans. Maybe we're not. Maybe we may see it in our lifetimes. But the thing is, right now, start talking about it, express the vision, and see who signs on, who likes what we have to say. That's it. We don't have an agenda other than that. We're not demanding that you change your lifestyle. We're not demanding that you change your diet. We're not demanding that you change the way you dress. We're not demanding that you quit your job. We're not demanding that you give up your love of comic books or, taking apart the vacuum cleaner or drawing. If you love beer and alcohol and believe in land infrastructure nationhood, good for you. We love beer and alcohol too. That's the thing. We don't try to control people. We pretty much put out our vision and say, hey, what is it you love to do and how can you help us achieve this vision based on what you love to do? Or what is it you want to learn to help this vision come to be? So I guess that's it. We lack that element of wanting to be dictatorial and cult-like. And that's what kind of perplexes people. And we'll get into that later on in the discussion.
And there's another element that I want to build on too that makes us a little bit different from all these other groups, is that if you notice, and I want you to find another group that doesn't require your money as a sign of your seriousness. Because I was looking at other people's forums, I won't mention any names or whatever, but I see a lot of people, a lot of groups require a check to clear or some payment to be made before you can even become a member.
Exactly.
We don't judge your seriousness by the amount of money that you give us. We judge your seriousness by how involved you are in the nationhood process. So
exactly.
Let's clear up the lies, because there's I don't think that there's any miscommunication. Some people are just out and out lying and creating just straight up straw men because they have nothing left. They got nothing. For number one, let's talk about me outside of the BAIO. And I've mentioned this many times. And if anybody really listened to what I was saying and not just react off of my eyes, they would know this. My channel is totally demonetized. When anybody clicks on a video, do you see any ads come up?
No, thank goodness, because I don't know how many times I'm sick and tired of being sold on car loans when I click
Now,
on it.
If I'm lying, go to my channel right now, click on Holipsism, go to any one of my videos, click on my video, and tell me if an ad pops up. So I don't make any money from my YouTube channel, so that's a fucking lie. It's a lie. So when you hear somebody talking about, I'm trying to get clicks and views, for what? What am I getting them for? I'm not getting nothing out of it. On that level, I get no money from YouTube because I said a long time ago, YouTube can go fuck itself. You're not going to control my content. You're not going to control what I say. I don't have to curb what I'm saying to fit advertisers. They don't have to take money away from me. You know what I'm saying? So no ads for me. I don't make money off my YouTube. Now, the BAIO has been accused of being in quote a GoFundMe group. Where's the GoFundMe page at?
That's news to me.
If we're a GoFundMe group, where's the GoFundMe page? I figured you would. I mean, what are we hiding it?
That would be the weirdest GoFundMe operation I've ever seen. A secret GoFundMe page that you gotta work hard to find. Like I've never heard of anybody making it difficult for them to give them money.
Right.
I mean, I've never heard of that.
No GoFundMe page. Is there a Patreon for the BAIO?
Not to my knowledge. The only time I've contributed to BAIO operations, and that was with the administrators when we were first setting up the website, the Ning site, to pay for the fees, and we did it gladly. I mean, the people who were involved in that, you know, we contributed to it. And it was nothing because that was something we wanted to see done. But I do have to say something. There are people who do make money on the BAIO. Ready? The people who make money off of the BAIO are black businesses, of which where we choose to host BAIO meetups. So we would meet up at a black restaurant, and we would just go nuts and order a lot of stuff, have fun, get to know each other, talk about nationhood building, talk about the things we enjoy. You know, the discussions go from everything from nationhood to Godzilla on down. Those are the only people who monetarily...
You busted us.
Exactly.
We gave money to Mango Seed. Damn it.
I know. Damn us for giving money to that black-owned business to make some of the best food ever. You know, damn us for supporting Joe Lee to get brick oven pizza themed off of West Indian recipes. Damn us.
Yeah. Damn it. We actually did make Harlem Tavern get some money.
Oh yes. You know, Linux Sapphire, you know, stuff makes money. But like back what we were saying, I mean, but the irony of all this is the people who accuse us of soliciting money for people who have a big GoFundMe page of their own.
That's what I find hilarious.
I mean,
themselves smiling. Give me money.
I mean, come on. I mean, seriously. If that is the definition.
Yeah, I can understand you having like if you have an ideological problem with somebody having a GoFundMe page, I would imagine that you don't ask money from anybody, right?
Exactly. But to outright lie or just, I wouldn't say, because lies are strong, but to outright be misinformed, and that's another thing that really touches a nerve, because I was going through your past few shows, and I was listening to the one you did with Bell Fails. By the way, people thought I was nuts walking down the street because I'm just laughing to the whole thing, and people think I'm laughing to myself. And you touched on, and this has been a theme, and I think it's very important that we reiterate this. You touched on how the conscious community put stuff out there without doing any research, and how dangerous that is. I mean, in this instance, it's pretty funny, but in a long sense, these are people asking people to devote their time to them. Now, I say this, the most valuable resource we have is time. Everyone from Jeff Bezos to an amoeba has 24 hours in a day. That is the only equalizer in this universe is time. How you request someone spend their time says a lot about how you think about that person, and how you have that person devote their time to what you're doing says a lot about a person. You have to really disrespect the person to waste their time, and more so disrespect the person to send them on a wild goose chase, an ideological wild goose chase, and have them waste years of their life. And that goes into how so many people who were involved in the conscious community have become so bitterly anti-Black. Not just bitter with the conscious community, but they want their time back, particularly a lot of women who've been stung by this whole thing, who want their time back, who feel that their time has been wasted, and now they want revenge. So this just goes to a point of what we went through this past week when, with people not researching things properly, people just saying things. I mean, we've been criticizing for it, that's not a problem, by much bigger and heavier characters. But it touches us personally in the BAIO because we are a group of people who love our people. And one thing we are very cautious of is how we have members devote their time. And one thing we don't require is that you spend hours, unless you want to, on a project that, is sort of BAIO organized or BAIO organization related. I mean, if you want to study something that you're interested, like in the STEM fields or in finance, or better yourself in those areas because you feel that bettering yourself in those areas can help us with this vision, we all the more encourage you to spend your time doing that because it benefits you personally and it ultimately will benefit us. We have that philosophy with every single person within the BAIO. But however, we were not going to say devote like 5 hours to something, unless it's a BAIO meeting and we know we're going to all meet up at a Black-owned business and we're just going to happen to spend 5 hours there because time will fly and we're having so much fun. But other than that, we don't have people waste tons of time on, one, feeling hopeless, 2, feeling miserable, 3, at the end, feeling angry, and 4, it goes back to a cycle. Once you get out of this experience feeling angry, you feel used, and 5, well, you feel stupid because you have been used. We don't put people through that process.
Right. And I want to know also, this is like the thing that really struck me was the whole misleading the people thing, because one of the things, like when I go and I look over my content, I talk about the importance of Africa, and I talk about us establishing something in Africa, but I've never been to Africa, so I don't recall any shows where I did telling people about specific countries in Africa and what it's like to be there, which would be kind of crazy if I've never been there. So I'm just confused about that. What am I exactly misleading people on? If I never went, if you're living in any African country and I've never been there, how can I speak more about that country than the person who's actually been there?
Like I said, it goes to point, and I have to repeat it. You can't mislead people if no one's following you. You can't mislead people if you're not seeking followers.
Right.
I mean, people don't understand this. It's like, because, okay, people are hearing your message and they're excited about what you have to say, you're automatically deemed a, quote, leader. And that's what a lot of people get wrong. And especially with our people. We're so quick to see someone who just stands up and says something as a leader. Why? Because we're so used to having people standing up and saying stuff, calling themselves leaders. So naturally, you're going to conflate the two. Mm-hmm. And so when somebody just stands up and says someone to say, hey, I just want to deliver a message, you automatically assume that person is seeking a leadership role. So that to me is relatively asinine to assert that you're misleading people. I mean, as far as, I'm concerned, as far as any of us are concerned, who's ever done shows, BAIO shows, or BAIO, put out BAIO material. We're just average people communicating a vision for what we want for the future, for ourselves and our future generations of diasporic Black Africans. We're just communicating a vision. I would dare say, you know, we're sort of like, you know, evangelists of nationhood, to, you know, put it succinctly. The only difference is we don't request obscene levels of devotion or money. Right. So that's it. I mean, like you said, it perplexes a lot of people because we talk about things, you know, that are not generally talked about. Not only that, but we slaughter a lot of sacred cows too. And I think that's what pissed a lot of people off too, because we're calling them out for their nonsense. We're calling them out, you know, for how unethical they are with respect to how they use our people's time, how they use our people's money, how they use our people's emotions and their hurt and the things that they've been through. And, you know, we call people out for that. And they are upset that we're sort of raining on their parade, or we sort of, you know, throwing out the spiked punch bowl. Well, guess what? Too bad. We're going to continue doing it.
You can't compare to the status right here. Legendary worldwide, we can battle right here. Listen, Junior, I'ma tear back your wig. This ain't TV, but I'll show you what a fear factor is. Stop grilling me, and all that fronting is killing me. You leave me no choice but to hurt your feelings, G.
About to slap rappers around and bruise